want to talk to you specifically about the running back position. What do you feel like is a big element that most running backs need to have to build success?
I'd probably say leadership for sure, and probably vision, but leadership for sure, because you have to you rely on your linemen, you rely on all those guys. So I mean, if they're doing their job, then obviously I can, shine for sure.
Yeah, and speaking on that relationship with your O-lineman, I remember I talked to you before and you mentioned how it's like second nature almost. Yeah. You know where they're gonna be, when you see the butt, you cut it up, that kind of thing. How do you guys build that sort of connection? Because you and the O-lineman, you guys almost have to be on the same wavelength.
Obviously a team building like that, obviously hanging out outside of school, all that stuff, just building, obviously just all that other stuff. So team building for sure is definitely a big aspect for all of us.
GetSportsFocus is brought to you by Summit Partners, leaders in growth equity investing. WeightsandBars.com. Build your home gym and shop locally from the Bay Area's best fitness equipment experts. Ike's Love and Sandwiches. Championship level sandwiches every single time. South Bay Construction, a reputation built on trust. And by Fuel Good, fueling your success. Conveniently located in Santa Clara off Homestead Road. For more info, go to fuelgoodmealprep.com.
What's up, GetSportsFocus? My name is Alejandro Flores. I'm here now with Marcell Leggett. Marcell, how you doing, man?
Doing good, how are you?
Doing good. Now, I want to ask you right off the bat, you're going into a big senior year, and you're now one of the veterans on this team. You've had experience. So do you feel your approach to this season is different compared to the rest?
It's way different, I think that it's my senior year, so I got to prove it to myself, obviously I don't have as many offers as other people, but so this is my time to really prove myself. I think other years I've definitely, said like, hey, this just take one game at a time, this and that, but then now this is the year to really prove to everybody that, I'm a good fit for someone's program.
That's awesome, and you know what? We can't wait to see how you show out this year. So I want to call you, I like to call you the jack of all trades, man. I see what you do. You're playing running back. When you go into 7-on-7s, it's wide receiver, it's DB. You're all over the place. Also, you're running track as well, so you're a two-sport athlete. How do you do it all, man? And how do you feel like each element of these different sports and positions help you out?
My dad's always preached that, you have to be able to play every position of the sport and really understand every position. So, I think that for me, just being able to understand and know what to do out the field is just going to help me for football for sure.
That's awesome. Now, I want to talk to you specifically about the running back position. What do you feel like is a big element that most running backs need to have to build success?
I'd probably say leadership for sure, and probably vision, but leadership for sure, because you have to you rely on your linemen, you rely on all those guys. So if they're doing their job, then obviously I can, shine for sure.
Yeah, and speaking on that relationship with your O-lineman, I remember I talked to you before and you mentioned how it's like second nature almost. Yeah. You know where they're gonna be, when you see the butt, you cut it up, that kind of thing. How do you guys build that sort of connection? Because you and the O-lineman, you guys almost have to be on the same wavelength.
Obviously a team building like that, obviously hanging out outside of school, all that other stuff, just building, obviously just all that other stuff. So team building for sure is definitely a big aspect for all of us.
Now, I see how much you're putting in the work, man. You're a big guy over here. You get a lot of off-season training. You've been training with Coach Romo since 7th grade. What has been the off-season training been like? What's the regimen for you?
Obviously Coach Romo's the number one for sure, and then obviously I work out in Hayward with Coach Eric Washington, my running back coach, and then I work out with Coach B as well. So obviously that, so yeah.
Coach B, is that?
Coach B is my running back coach at Valley Christian right now.
That's awesome, man. So, balancing all these things together, and you still have a 3.4 GPA as well, how do you feel like you balance everything together in life and then also, maintain such good grades?
My dad's always on me for grades for sure. So, if I'm not, 3.0 is definitely unacceptable for me. So, my dad's always on me. So, shout out my dad. He's definitely been, a big advocate for me. He always wants me to succeed. So, that's just definitely just all my dad's doing for sure.
That's awesome. Now, Also, a big thing is you do 7-on-7s throughout the, your off season, and you mentioned too how big it is to get slot work at receiver. You're not playing running back on these 7-on-7s. You're playing DB. You're playing wide receiver. How much do those elements help you out and make you a more versatile player?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said before, I mean, if I'm playing defense or like playing DB, for sure, like you being able to have leverages. So obviously DBs have leverages and everything. So that if I'm playing slot or something, if I see him playing on the outside or the inside, then I have to do a certain type of release in order to win it. And then obviously for slot, I mean, there's just more versatile, to keep myself more available for coaches.
That's awesome. Now you are a unique athlete too, because you're a big time two-sport athlete. I mean, you run track, but you go to the big meets. You go to Arcadia, you travel. You're a really good track runner, man, seriously. So what's the experience been like running track and field for Valley Christian?
I mean, it's never been great. Obviously, Coach Giddens, he's our DB coach, so I mean, obviously, I have a great relationship with him. So obviously, like the big meets like that, going to Arcadia, going all the way to LA, running against like all the big schools and everything. So that's definitely a good experience for sure.
And what events do you run for track and field?
So I run the 100, 200, and then the 4x1. Sometimes the 4x4, and then sometimes the 400. But I mean, I'm not really rocking with those. But.
Well, yeah, the 400 I know it's a tough event.
Yeah, not for me.
But do you feel like, running these events, do you feel like it helps you out and translate big time to the football field?
Yeah, for sure. Track speed's way different than football speed, for sure. I mean, that's just, it just correlates, I mean, it's just 9-day difference.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about, your experience in playing in some of the 7-on-7s, the GetSportsFocus 7-on-7 tournaments and many other tournaments. What's those experiences been like just in the 7-on-7 program?
It's great, I mean, getting to see all the competition, all the other, all the other 7-on-7 schools. I mean, going down all the way to Stockton, seeing all those guys, and then coming over here, seeing all, all like the St. Francis's and the Reading kids and all that other stuff. So I mean, it's definitely just good to see all the other players in competition for sure.
That's awesome. And now bringing it, you got a lot of competition this season coming up for Valley Christian.
Huge, yeah.
But a big season. What's the expectations for this year for Valley Christian?
Expectation for Valley Christian, definitely try to go win Dub Cal. That's definitely, I mean, Dub Cal is definitely a hard division for sure. But I mean, I think that the team that we have right now, I think that we're capable of doing great things and big things for sure.
Yeah, and I see you're training with Chase Cahoon, and then you play against the Cahoon brothers come season. What's it like training with those guys, guys who push you to the next level, and what's that experience like?
I mean, it's always good to surround yourself with people who want to be at the next level for sure. I mean, if you surround yourself with people that want to have the same goals as you, then I mean, all you guys win at the same time. So I mean, working out with them is definitely like a blessing for sure.
That's awesome. And then you mentioned earlier from my first question, you said your approach to this season. This is it. This is now. Do you have any personal goals that you want to share about this year?
Personal goals, definitely 1,000 yards, hopefully more. But I mean, obviously, try to be a dual threat type of thing. So obviously, receiving wise, obviously, I have to try to have 1,000 yards as well, and then try to have at least maybe 15 touchdowns. So I mean, that's the goal for sure.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned so many times about how your dad's been on you, keeping up your grades, making sure you're always training. Yeah. Can you bring it all the way back? When were you first introduced to football, and then when did you know this sport was like, yeah, I want to do this?
Right around when I was 4 years old, my dad was like, hey, let's go out in the front yard, start, running some drills and everything. So since then, I've kind of just fell in love with it. I mean, obviously out in the front yard, he's putting all these cones down and all these other drills and just doing all the other stuff. So ever since I was 4, it's definitely been a dream of mine for sure.
Oh man, you've been set on this journey since the beginning, man. That's awesome. So, one last thing, how much has that family support meant to you to where you are right now?
I mean, obviously, my dad's definitely a big advocate, vocal point in my life. I mean, my biological mom passed away when I was around 4 years old, so I mean, he's definitely been like a person that's really taken that role. And then my stepmom is in the military. She's also been a person that's been very advocate for sure.
That's awesome. Marcell, we've seen the work you put in. We see how much time and effort you put into this sport, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So we want to actually invite you to the GetSportsFocus All-Star Game coming up later this year, if you're okay with that, coming in December.
For sure,
So,
yeah, definitely appreciate it.
First of all, we want to thank you for joining the GetSportsFocus All-Star Game, and we also can't wait to see what you do this big senior year. Like you said, you're all in for this senior year. Do you want to give any shout-outs to anyone here on the camera before you go?
Shout out Coach B, my running back coach. Shout out Dad. Shout out Coach Romo, my guy. Shout out Coach Eric Washington, and just ready to work for sure.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, thank you so much, GetSportsFocus, for tuning in. This is Marcell Leggett, big senior year coming up for Valley Christian. You'll also be seeing him in the GetSportsFocus All-Star Game. Marcell, thank you very much, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you.